Welcome to the Vue Query Builder tutorial. In this video, I will show you the various interactions and view customizations in the Syncfusion Vue Query Builder component. You will discover how to lock, clone, and drag and drop groups and rules. I will also walk you through setting group limits, adding rule validations, enabling the summary view, switching display modes, and working with separate connectors. First, I'll open my existing Vue application where I have added the Query Builder component with a data source, other necessary properties, and styles. To learn how to integrate the Query Builder component into a Vue application, please check out the Getting Started video linked in the card above and the description below. Let me run this application using the npm run dev command. The Query Builder is rendered with the defined rules and fields. Next, to lock the groups and rules, I bind the Show Buttons property with an object and enable the Lock Group and Lock Rule properties. You can see the lock buttons in both groups and rules. I click one of the group's lock buttons. The entire group is locked and will not allow me to edit the rules. Clicking the lock button again enables editing. I can also lock a rule to prevent editing that particular rule. Next, let me show you how to clone groups and rules. In the Show Buttons property, enable the Clone Group and Clone Rule properties. You can see the clone buttons in child groups and rules. You may notice that the clone button is not available for the parent group. This is because there is no higher level group where the clone group can be inserted, as the parent group represents the topmost level of the query structure. When I click the child group's clone button, the entire group is cloned. I can modify the rules if needed. Also, I can clone a rule. In Query Builder, I cannot reorder rules or groups by default. To enable this, I need to activate the drag and drop functionality. Bind the Allow Drag and Drop property with True. You can see the drag handles in both child groups and rules. I can drag and drop a group or a rule. A rule can be dragged and dropped within a group or into another group. I can restrict the group creation count. By default, I can create a maximum of 5 groups. To modify this, bind the Max Group Count property with 1. You can set it to any positive integer, including 0. Since there is already a group in the rules, the Add New Group option is not available. Looking here, when I remove the child group, I can add a new group. After adding a group, I cannot add any more. Next, let me show you how to validate the conditions in the rules. I need to call the Validate Fields method. I'll do so with a button click. To create a button, first I need to install the button package. It is available in the Syncfusion EJ2 Vue Buttons package. The installation is now complete. Import the button component and define it in the component's property with a name. In the template, add EJS button tag element and set the CSS class property with a name to apply CSS styles for better alignment. I set the content to validate fields. Add the click directive and assign an event handler, validate fields. In the export default statement, use the method's property and implement the validate fields method. Within it, I need to access the Query Builder instance. To do so, in the Query Builder component, add the ref attribute and assign the value Query Builder. This allows me to access the Query Builder directly in the script. Next, I enable the Allow Validation property. In the Validate Fields method, use the Query Builder instance and call its Validate Fields method. In the Style tag, implement the button class style for the bottom margin. Now you can see the button component. When I click it, there will be no error messages. Next, I remove the filter text and sales, and then click the Validate Fields button. You can see the error message that the field is required. Setting the Allow Validation property will set the Is Required property to True for all fields. I can customize it if needed using the Validation property. Also, I can restrict this Employee ID numeric field by defining minimum and maximum values using the Validation property. By default, the numeric value fields start from the number 0, and its max value can be set to the number type's maximum value. Let me show you how to restrict the Employee ID field values. In the Employee ID column, bind the Validation property with an object, setting the property's min to 1 and max to 13. Set the Is Required property to True to make the field mandatory. This ensures employee IDs fall within the range and allows customization of the Is Required property. I changed the field name to Employee ID, and you can see the value starting from number 1. I cannot provide a value less than 1, either using the decrement button or manually entering it in the numeric text box. For the max value, I cannot enter a value of more than 13. Here, the individual rules or groups are connected with the same logical connectors. The Query Builder also supports setting different logical connectors for individual rules or groups within the same parent group. Let me show you how this works. First, bind the Enable Separate Connector property with True. Now you can see individual logical connectors for each rule, and there is no condition at the top of the parent group. I can set individual conditions for each rule. To do the same programmatically in the rules collection, remove the parent condition and add a condition property to the first rule. Similarly, for the group, remove the parent condition property and add it to the first rule. This feature is particularly useful in scenarios where different rules need separate connectors for better query precision. Now you can see different conditions for each rule within a group. See, the rules are arranged horizontally. To display them vertically, set the Display Mode property to Vertical. The default value is horizontal. You can see the rules and groups are arranged vertically. I can also show the summary in the Query Builder. Summary view provides a condensed, readable version of the query that users build. To enable it, bind the Summary View property with True. You can see the summary of the filter query. I can use this Edit button to edit the query and switch back to the summary view again. Let me summarize this video. I have shown you the various interactions and view customizations available in the Syncfusion Vue Query Builder component. You can download the example used in this video from the GitHub link in the description below. I have also included a link where you can check if you're eligible for our community license, which gives you a free license key for our entire Vue suite. If you found this video useful, click the like button and subscribe to our channel to get notifications about new videos. Thanks for watching.